Progressive Insurance on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, SiriusXM Channel 80. And don't forget about us on ESPN2. And catch up on all 4 hours of the show on Sportsmanlike. You can do that part of the podcast, available daily wherever you get your podcasts. From the We Know This, Now You Will department, per an MVP straw poll, according to ESPN.com's Tim Bontemps. I love when Chris Canty just laughs because it just makes my whole day, because I try to break these guys up. When I break them up a little bit, it makes me feel better. According to a straw poll, not only, gentlemen, is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the lead, the Oklahoma City superstar for the MVP, he is comfortably CC in front.
Yeah.
He has the top spot on 88 out of 100 ballots, while he picked up 9 second place and 3 third place ballots to land on 100% of all the ballots being cast. That gave him a total of 958 points. That puts him 300 points ahead of Victor Wembanyama. He's the only player, meaning Victor Wembanyama, to finish on every ballot, but he only had 8 first place votes, 63 second place votes, 19 third place votes, 9 fourth place votes, and for some godforsaken reason, somebody gave him a 5th place selection for 644 total points.
Yeah, revoke their vote.
Yeah, that's wild to me. Let me say this about the disparity in first place votes. I don't think that's indicative of how close this MVP race is. I think Tim Bontemps from the Hoop Collective did a great job of being able to break down why the voting fell out this way in terms of the first place nods. Anytime you have a choice that's binary, meaning one or the other, you're going to have more of a disparity in terms of the outcomes, right? It's not like it's ranked choice voting like voting for the New York City mayor, where you have a first, second, third place vote. It's not going to work out like that. So I think it's a situation where it's so one-sided in SGA's favor, because he came into this race in the pole position, came into this season as the reigning defending champ, reigning defending MVP, and all of the things. And then, of course, he's got an outstanding streak going, and some of the lasting memories that people will have of him is hitting clutch shots at the end of big games against Western Conference opponents. And so I think those are all the things that are trending in SGA's favor. And then, oh, by the way, his team is in first place in the Western Conference, and the direct competition for that number 1 seed in the West is the San Antonio Spurs. Now, I do think Wemby has a narrow window to close the gap and potentially overtake SGA, but that would involve the San Antonio Spurs winning out the remaining games that they have. I think it's the remaining 5 games that they have, and then the Oklahoma City Thunder losing a couple of games down the stretch. And I think that it sets up for the Spurs to have a run at this, because OKC has the tougher of the 2 schedules. Final 5 games for Oklahoma City, they've got the Jazz, at the Lakers, at the Clips, at the Nuggets, and the Suns. And then the final 5 games for the Lakers, they've got the Nuggets, Sixers, Blazers, Mavs, Nuggets. So I do think that it could potentially be close, but in order for Wemby to win MVP, it's going to take some help from OKC and SGA and the Thunder stumbling down the stretch. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's the only scenario in which Wemby can win MVP this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think if the Spurs get the 1 seed, I feel like Victor Wembanyama, because of how many times they play OKC and they have the record 4 games to 1 against a quality opponent, that you have to give him that MVP award. And we're talking about a 2-way player, a guy offensively that can do just about everything and has everything in his arsenal. But the way he alters shots, blocks shots, and gives the illusion that he's always in the paint, so it makes you think as an offensive player, I might not want to shoot it because Wemby's probably behind me. I think that's huge.
Oh, that's the hell no from David Dennis Jr. The hell no.
1,000%.
The hell no.
Not in my house, says Wemby. But the only way Wemby can win it is if they do get that 1 seed.
Yeah.
CC, Freddie will tell you, I've been trying my best to find a way to give Victor Wembanyama this MVP award, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander keep telling me, did not tell you, stop playing with me. Every time they play a quality opponent, he shows up big. You look at the game last night, even though it was supposed to be a good one, 28 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. He's always going to show up for OKC. So I'm going to play devil's advocate. Right now, he's my number 1 choice.
CC, what would be your criteria for MVP? Because there's no set criteria. it can be whatever you want it to be. But if you on the CC board and HD, you can fill in after that. What is your criteria to determine who is a rightful MVP or the order of MVPs that you have breaking down?
To me, it's about impact, and it's not just about trying to quantify that with the numbers, because Harry just alluded to it. A lot of what Victor Wembanyama does, you can't see it on the stat sheet. When you talk about how big of a deterrent he is when it comes to opposing players driving into the paint, trying to score at the rim, like, it's not going to happen. I mean, you look at some of the things that Wemby has been able to do. It's just been incredible. You go to the third quarter and look at the 1 minute mark in the third quarter of the game against the Golden State Warriors. Wemby has an amazing finish at the rim. He was a little bit off balance. He falls down. He gets back in transition. He hedges against the ball handler at the perimeter in the three-point shot. He's able to get into the high post and be a deterrent, but then also able to fall back and get the offensive rebound and then lead the break going back the other way. Like, there's just a certain level of ability that we've never seen from somebody in his frame. And I think when we start talking about impact, is what do you do in terms of giving your team an opportunity to have success? And over the last 2 months, nobody in the NBA has been better than the San Antonio Spurs. And the biggest reason why is because Victor Wembanyama has taken his game up a notch. Now, credit to OKC, because even though the Spurs have had an unbelievable 2 months, OKC has still been able to stay out in front from a record standpoint. But when you look at Wemby's impact, to me, that's where the value in MVP comes up. There is no more dominant force in the NBA than Wemby on defense. There is no more unstoppable force than Wemby on offense. And to me, that's what your MVP is. So, I mean, I get where the voters are at with it, but I think that when you look at what Victor Wembanyama is and what he's been able to do for his team, and having the Spurs in this position where everybody's questioning whether or not they can skip steps because they're so young and inexperienced, potentially contend for a championship this early in Wemby's career, I think that has to merit serious consideration for the award.
Well, I also agree with what Wemby said, not too long ago when he talked about the MVP award and why he feels like he's the guy that should be number one right now. Even on the offensive end, CC, when Victor Wembanyama gets the basketball, you seen it in that Golden State Warriors basketball game a few nights ago. There's 3 and sometimes 4 guys that are trying to collapse on Wemby, so now that frees up other guys on the perimeter to be able to have wide-open jump shots. Yeah. That's not measured on the stat sheet, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So that's what Wemby is talking about.
Harry,
just scoring points is not at the forefront of everything that you do from an MVP perspective.
Harry, here's what you need to know. Victor Wembanyama is number 1 in net rating in the NBA, despite being 101st in minutes played this season. Think about that.
Yep.
Number 1 in the NBA.
That's crazy, man.
In net rating. He's 101st in minutes played. Zion Williamson has played more minutes than Wemby this year.
Which is shocking.
Which is insane to think about it that way. And I think it's absolutely asinine, people using the minutes argument against Victor Wembanyama. Oh, he doesn't play the amount of minutes as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
That makes it more impressive to me.
That's what I say. It's the dumbest damn thing I've ever heard. Oh, he doesn't play enough minutes. Oh, the fewest minutes any MVP has ever played is 2,200. It's dumb. It's the dumbest argument I've ever heard. He doesn't play enough minutes. Guess what? His team has the best record over the last 2 months of basketball. He's got the number 1 net rating. He's awesome. Cut it out with this whole damn minutes argument. It's so stupid.
And what else he can make you say on defense? While you on offense?
Hell no.
No.
Everything about the conversation involving you two and what other people are having about the MVP race, not if, but when these two teams meet in the Western Conference Finals, can you imagine what that's going to look like? Because Victor Wembanyama is going to go out there to prove a point. We got a better team, and I should have been MVP. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to do his whole, hell nah, I'm the real MVP, and we're a better team than you. It's leading to a lot of lay-macking their respect, meaning that's French for disrespect that Victor Wembanyama is not going to forget.
Let me say this quickly, though, because we also have to give the San Antonio Spurs a lot of credit.
Sure.
For sticking to their plan and not letting outside noise deter them from what they wanted to do in their plan for Victor Wembanyama. I don't think enough people talk about that because people bring up the minutes and what Wemby's playing and what he's not playing.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Spurs for doing and sticking to their plan and not letting anyone else cloud their thinking when it comes to Victor.